Good evening, I'm Isaiah Jacob with your sports update. Earlier today, the Cleveland Guardians dropped the first of a 3-game series against the Detroit Tigers 2-1. Tariq Skubal tied the postseason record with 14 strikeouts and led the Tigers to the win. The Gardos look to rebound tomorrow at 1 to keep the series alive. Tanner Bybee will be on the mound for Cleveland. Right now, the Boston Red Sox and New York Yankees are getting ready for their first pitch in AL wildcard action. And then later on tonight, the Cincinnati Reds take on the Los Angeles Dodgers at 9. On the mound for the Reds, Hunter Green will face off against Blake Snell of the Dodgers. And then coming up shortly, the Blue Jackets continue preseason play against the Washington Capitals. Coverage starts here on the Fan at 6:45. Puck drops at 7. And this update was sponsored by Green & Sons. Family owned and operated for over 45 years, Green & Sons will help you find your next Kubota tractor. Located in Mount Sterling and north of Marysville. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Ring it up for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
He's stealing away. He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
Oh, Graham Rucker for the touchdown. Graham shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
Off and rolling here on a Tuesday. I'm Brandon Beam hanging out with my guy, A-Ward Sports, Austin Award, Isaiah behind the glass tonight. Austin, happy Tuesday to you, my friend. How were your lovely travels out to the Pacific Northwest in a big Buckeye victory over the weekend?
Well, they were lovely indeed. And they've brought me right back here to you in the Buckeye Show.
That's
Beam.
right.
That's the best part.
Can't get away.
Hey, I mean, I'll just rip the Band-Aid right off. Pressbox Snob had some things that he could complain about.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna, because it is an awesome atmosphere for college football.
It sounded like it was really good on the broadcast. On the TV broadcast, it looked awesome. It looked like there were a ton of scarlet. Ryan Day and the coaches afterwards adamant about how much the Ohio State fans in that stadium helped. It looked sweet. It sounded great. I'm glad that you had a good time.
Yeah, it was awesome. The sailgating, Husky Harbor, that stuff before the game I thought was really cool, really well done. And kudos to Washington. They were great hosts, and plenty of Ohio State fans took advantage of that. They had said they wanted to set the decibel record. They were cranking it up. They were putting it on the scoreboard early on, and it got up to about 120. But I said, early on. So there's no way they're going to break the record. There's too many Ohio State fans here.
What is the record?
I think it was like 133 that they were shooting for.
Was their record, or is that
I think they already had the record as the loudest college football stadium ever. They wanted
That's an upset. I feel like that's an upset.
It's all about the acoustics, Beamer. They have
Those
this
West Coast teams and their acoustics building stadiums.
I know. They seem to have it down. Well, you got Boeing out there. You got a lot of aeronautics engineers. Let's trap
The
this
highest
sound.
decibel record in college football history was set at Neyland Stadium on November 18th of 2023 when the crowd reached 137 decibels during the Tennessee versus Georgia game. Before that was set in September of 1992 at 133.6 when Washington hosted Nebraska.
Okay. So there we go.
So they did have it.
They once had it. They lost it. They wanted to get it back. They thought they might be able to do that against the number one team in the country. But what they may not have known was that 15 to 20,000 fans of that team were going to fly out to Seattle. There was scarlet and gray everywhere.
Yes, there was. Aside from the student section that was all purple, there's smatterings all throughout the stadium.
So I talked to Jerry Emig about it before the game because someone had said, well, Ohio State returned 200 tickets. Oh, well, that's interesting because there's thousands of Ohio State fans here. And so Jerry said, all the ones that Washington allotted for Ohio State to sell itself were in the upper deck, the highest level of the stadium opposite where the press box was. So those didn't sell out. Everything you saw on TV in the lower bowl, those fans either bought them on the secondary market or from Washington directly. In there were also a lot of Washington fans complaining that was because of this takeover. You can't sell your season tickets. You can't give these up. You got to be from Washington to buy tickets.
We've been there before.
I think I've heard that before. You don't want them to be there.
To that.
You better take ownership of it because otherwise other fan bases will definitely walk in to your building and take it over. And Ohio State did that on the field and in the stands.
Got a great show lined up for you tonight, as Isaiah said in the Sports Center update. 6:45, get you out to Jackets coverage, taking on the Washington Capitals tonight. Next segment, we'll recap what Ryan Day had to say today in his press conference. Then at 6:30, our guy Jeremy Birmingham, a.k.a. Birm, he's going to join the program. Let's get to the game on Saturday, shall we, Austin? 357 total yards for this Ohio State offense. 234 total yards for the Washington offense and that vaunted DeMond Williams attack. I don't know where you wanted to start. There's a couple of things, but I think we've got to highlight the defensive line, Caden Curry and Cade McDonald's performance on Saturday, because those two guys, I know we can get into the backer play and some of the stuff that was going on in the secondary. First and foremost, those guys, game wreckers.
Who's your favorite Caden?
It's a great question, actually. I've never thought that their name is the same. It's just spelled different. They look a little different, too.
They play different.
Yeah,
and
they do.
they're
the Scotia.
They're dominant. And you have to, I think we look at the numbers and some of the national awards that came out today, kind of lumped them together. Mm-hmm. That's overlooking, I think, the best game of Kenyatta Jackson's career. And you look at the stat sheet, and it doesn't blow you away.
Yeah, but he was there.
He was everywhere.
He was there.
He was here, there, and he was everywhere, which was even more remarkable to me because you and I talked about it on Thursday on the Buckeye Show after I had got eyeballs on KJ on Wednesday night after practice, just a massive brace on the left leg, and he's hobbling around. And then he comes out of the locker room on Saturday morning, nothing on it at all. No sleeve, no brace, no tape, nothing. And I'm like, are you not even going to play? And no, he played, and he was dominant. All those guys were, and phenomenal stuff. You just lump it all together with the 6 tackles for loss, 6 sacks from those guys. DeMond Williams, he started seeing ghosts because they were really disciplined. We said that was going to be key, but then who was going to spy? How were they going to spy? DeMond Williams tried to get out the first time in the first half, and 8 feet tall and bulletproof runs him down, throws him to the ground.
Figured out what the game plan was after the first drive.
Yes, and you could tell from then on, DeMond Williams had this realization.
He's everywhere.
I'm not going to be able to run away from Marvell Reese. And also their defensive ends can run me down. And if I try and go up the middle, then I'm going to get swallowed alive by Caden McDonald. So
also, Sonny, there was a straight line play where DeMond Williams had broken the pocket and he was getting out to the boundary. And Sonny straight lined him on whatever yard line it was, caught him, threw him down before first down. I'm like, oh, boy.
So that's not going to happen.
It's going to be a long day.
And so you could tell that DeMond Williams just, even when there might have been an opportunity for him to run or make a play happen, he thought twice about it. And the second that he deliberated, Ohio State's like, no, we're here now, and you're going down.
Already there.
And so that defensive performance, because there was 2 weeks of conversation, is what Ohio State has done defensively, was Matt Patricia and all of this schematic stuff. Is it real, or does Texas stink? Can they stop DeMond Williams? Arch Manning doesn't count. He's struggling. They shut down Jonah Coleman within they were able to find some success occasionally between the 20s. And DeMond Williams completed a lot of passes. At one point, he had 14 in a row that he'd completed.
Yeah.
But Denzel Boston there, he didn't really have a lot cooking there. I think 3 catches in the game. 2 came on Jermaine, which I think Jermaine might have been a little bit slightly banged up at times, not to justify or rationalize, make excuses. But the end result for all of that, the secondary, the dominant defensive line play, Arvell and Sonny, Peyton Pierce getting involved at times, no touchdowns allowed on the road against a team that people were looking at. This is an upset special, and Washington's got these triplets. And
they are a good football team.
I think they're going to be a very good football team. And to me, it just tells you how great this Ohio State defense could become. And Ryan Day sort of pushed back. He said, it's only been 4 games. Let's cool it with the historic talk. But it has been a historic start for sure.
It has been, especially when you look at the final results of any of the games and still not allowing a single opponent to get to double digits on the season, which is crazy. Before we hear from Ryan Day coming up in our next segment, offensively, how did you think? I think it was kind of the same thing as Texas. I think Julian Sand kept everything in front of him. When there were opportunities to kind of let it go, he did that. I am not to push the panic button. Again, this is the number 1 team in the country. You are 4 games into the season. You got Minnesota at home in primetime coming up here. The red zone thing's starting to get a little wonky. I'm sure they're working on it. Obviously that they are. You have the talent and everything that I think by the end of the season you can get there. That was the one nitpick that I had about this game was, again, the continued maybe challenges for the offense in the red zone.
Yeah, that first drive of the game wound up being the 3rd empty red zone drive of the season for Ohio State. They've had 20 now. It's tough, right? Because They've scored on 17 out of 20.
Yep.
They have touchdowns on 13 out of 20. That by itself is not to the Ohio State standard. Ryan Day said earlier today that the goal for the program is 75%. I think we have it in our mind with Ohio State's talent that they should be expecting to score 100% of the time, and they should be 100% touchdowns.
Fair or not fair, that's what we expect.
That standard is the standard, right? And I think it was important for Ryan Day to give a little bit of that reminder. Now, it's also true that 13 out of 20 is 2 touchdowns short of what the Ohio State's own goal is for that. So they want to get to that point. I think the way I'm looking at it is first, 4th down, first red zone opportunity, banging their head again, doing things that we know are probably not the ideal way. If you're going to put the extra tight ends and a fullback on the field, you're telling everyone, here's what we're going to do, and we're going to try and run it. We're more athletic. We're more physical. We're better than you. We're just going to get this the hard way.
But what did they do at the end of the game when it was the 4th down?
That's where I'm seeing, like, okay, here's a recognition that you can also use really good players and really good schemes. And a little play action, you slip C.J. Donaldson out of the backfield. Yeah. And I'm hoping, or at least I'm expecting, that will sort of be the adjustment moving forward. Because I think back to the last 4, 5, 6 years with Ryan Day and the creativity on offense, and I think back to the plays when you have KJ Hill sort of going into the backfield and then running right back out to where he came from for an easy touchdown. Chris Olave would run that route. Jeremiah Smith, what he did in the playoff with that I think they're going to run an end around and we're going to switch the feet. Like, you can get creative as well. You don't have to just prove that you're dominant between the tackles and you're going to move people off the line of scrimmage. By and large, Ohio State is good enough to do that, but they have failed a couple times in the last several years, and we know which games that we're talking about and have not been able to recover from that. So I'm taking more out of the last 4th down opportunity in the red zone than the first one right now.
What's Austin's biggest takeaway from listening to Ryan Day over at the Woody today? We'll do that coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic.
Oh, yes.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Proper tree care is an investment that can lead to substantial returns and increased personal enjoyment. Hiring a certified arborist can help care for your trees and prevent storm damage. Inspections by Ohio ISA certified arborists can often find and mitigate tree defects before they fail. Only professionals with specialized knowledge and training are properly equipped to provide appropriate care. To find an arborist, visit trees4ohio.org. That's trees, the number 4, ohio.org.
The 2026 Buckeye Cruise for Cancer sets sail on the Silver Sea Silver Ray. It's an intimate ship with an even better experience. It's all-inclusive of beverages, shore excursions, taxes, and gratuities. Sail to bucket list ports like the Grand Turk, St. Martin, and St. Thomas, with Buckeye greats including Ryan Day, Bobby Carpenter, A.J. Hawk, the Boren Brothers, Ezekiel Elliott, Ryan Shazier, and more. Sailing from Fort Lauderdale, February 17th through the 24th. Call 614-792-6204 to book today.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a Buckeye, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. And jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Toyota gives you the power of choice. Now through September 30th, get 4.75 APR financing on a stylish new 25 Corolla or 5.75 on Corolla Hybrid. Excludes Corolla Cross and GR Corolla. Or lease a gas-powered 25 Corolla LE for $199 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Experience Buckeye Game Day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Common Man and Timmy.
What the hell is Cyhawk? What does that mean?
Well, Cyclones and Hawkeyes together. Cyhawk.
I had to really break that one down for you, huh?
Common Man and Timmy Afternoons on the Fan is sponsored by Hinderer Motorsports.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our lower prices. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Sunny skies, light winds, and temperatures in the mid-80s on this Tuesday. Overnight, we'll fall back down to the mid to upper 50s with fair skies and a bit of a breeze. A little breezy on Wednesday, but still plenty of sunshine for the 1st of October and highs in the upper 70s. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
Are we drinking the scarlet and gray Kool-Aid? You bet we are. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
If you'd like to, you can watch the show on YouTube. Go to youtube.com, type in 97.1 The Fan. Boom! All of our shows will be there, including not only tonight's show, Austin, you can watch live all the time, including the Austin and Berm Show. And one half of the Austin and Berm Show is right here with me. The other half's going to join us coming up here at 6:30.
That's very exciting.
It is.
We've already done some snap judgments today. You can get those at the 97.1 The Fan YouTube channel.
Any bold P's?
Oh, no. These are just some snappy J's. I made several references to Ryan Day making sure that he buttoned up his shirt nearly to the top in response to Minnesota and PJ Fleck getting a little chesty on Monday. Just really deep V.
I think it's a good look.
Yeah?
I think you should unbutton those buttons on your golf shirt right now.
I'm not gonna. That's not gonna happen.
When I do that with my golf shirts, I look like Harry Higgs.
You bear a striking resemblance to Triple H when you get it rolling out there. And it's not generally a good sign. If we see you with all the buttons undone, maybe a beverage in each hand, you're not playing your best golf.
Yeah, the golf game is lost.
Yeah. But anyway, snap judgments are out there. We talked a lot about Ryan Day's press conference, of course. And then tomorrow morning on The Beat, we will be having our Wednesday Stock Watch, which we've got a road game to break down, first Big Ten game to break down. So we get into all that. Some interesting choices, because I even bring up Jaden Fielding.
Ooh, good game out of Jaden Fielding this weekend.
Almost fell down on the field goal that he made.
Yes.
Slipping and sliding.
Was listening to Paul and about gave us a heart attack, and he said, Jaden Fielding fell down. The kick is good.
Also had to make a tackle. And I think that was the one part.
He got a Buckeye leaf from Justin Zwick on Saturday from that.
He's had to make 2 tackles on 6 kickoffs for Ohio State. Ryan Day rattled that stat off pretty easily. You know that he's got his mind on that, full attention for that special team staff, because you said if we're nitpicking, every single week right now we can do that with special teams.
Yeah, punt return.
You can't cough it up. Now, Ryan Day said that he is not entertaining at this point a change with Brandon Ennis, because that's the second time in the last couple games also where Brandon Ennis is breaking loose and he's showing that explosiveness and the speed. And
it was the good play, bad play like dilemma there.
Yeah, 100%. But the bad part, and we mentioned this, with Bo Jackson trying to earn his way into the lineup, you can't do it. You've got the program in your hands. And how different,
especially at that point in the game with that place looking for anything that they could grab hold onto, that it was like a tinderbox, that it was anything was going to set it on fire. Big play from their defense, a turnover. That's how the crowd gets engaged and stays engaged. If Washington offense goes down and scores a touchdown, I know that's an alternate reality.
Yeah.
But then you're in a chase game. Who knows what happens?
But you follow that timeline down. You have the same situation. They don't convert the 4th and 1 Ohio State. Yep. They had forced an early stop. They were taking the crowd out of it. They marched right down there into the red zone. They don't finish that drive. Okay, that's fine. Ohio State's defense, you can leave them in a good spot. They're going to get a stop. Jed Fish helped a little bit as well at that, or a lot of bit at that time.
Just can't be on the numbers screaming at a referee.
They make contact for one. Apparently,
you weren't listening to the TV broadcast.
No, that's what Jay-Z was going off. But at the live show on Monday on GD, he said, this guy just loves Washington.
Well, he was just out of his mind. He was just like, you would think that it would be a sideline interference, a warning first, and then they cut it off before
they made contact.
Yes.
It's a penalty. There's no arguing about it.
He was the most appalled I think I've ever heard.
And then I look up 2 plays later, and Jed Fish is inside the numbers talking to the officials like, what are you doing, you maniac? Like that. Anyway, but so Ohio State's got that going. The crowd is agitated for Washington. Ohio State has already shown that it's going to have great success on offense, and then the special teams is breaking one as well. So either one of those things, maybe you kick a field goal, maybe you score on that opening drive, then your defense gives you another stop, you break a punt return, but instead they get no points out of that. Then they turn the football over, and Washington has signs of life and a chance to find a pulse and get back in it. So it's been so frustrating, not just 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. It feels like the entirety of the time that I've been covering Ohio State that they're not maximizing special teams. And I can't for the life of me figure out why. Ryan Day was talking earlier today about who's in charge of what part of the special teams, because they've done it differently where it's not just one overarching coordinator thinking about this at all times. You have really almost everybody on the staff touching it in some form or fashion. And, they had a meeting at 7:30 on, this morning to try and go over all of that and get it fixed because they didn't fit it up right on a kickoff return. Washington takes it out near midfield. Mm-hmm. You don't execute properly. Brandon Ennis coughs up the fumble on the return. We've seen in other games, issues fielding the punts, not just Brandon Ennis, but even when Jeremiah Smith or Caleb Downs have been back there, it's been a recurring theme. So that's the one part where I look at, is it going to matter on Saturday against Minnesota?
Probably not.
I think highly unlikely. Is it going to matter against UCLA and Rutgers and Wisconsin? Unlikely. Is it going to make a difference against Penn State or in the Big House or in the playoff? Definitely possible. It's hidden yardage, but it's also like huge swings of field position.
Absolutely. You go back to the Michigan game, was it last year? I don't know, it was cold and windy out. But the punting game last year was not good.
Yeah.
Unable to flip the field. I mean, you talk about hidden yardage. When games are at a close competitive contest, like what we're anticipating for Penn State coming up here in a month time, what you're going to look like in the Champaign Room against Illinois, who had a very nice bounce-back win this last weekend.
No surprise here.
No, we're still championing Burt and the Illini, all right? They've got put on the back burner a little bit. But those plays do matter. And it's not the Brandon Ennis fumble. It's everything that you are talking about as well. And the yardage on punts and, shanking things, kicking kickoffs out of bounds, which we have seen before here in the past. It needs to be tightened up.
Yeah, and I want to believe that it will be. I haven't really been given anything to latch on to think that it will be. And Ohio State's defense is so good. And I think the potential for this offense, as you see where it's going, is so incredible. It may not matter against anybody, but it could. And that's the part where if you're looking for areas to improve, and Ryan Day is fond of saying, and he did, 6 hours ago, he said the issues are always there. He wasn't saying the issues are always there on special teams. He's talking about all over the place, but I'm latching onto that and being like, can't you just put the best players out there? And they do that more often than almost anybody else. You got to find a way to get that patched up, because if you don't, it could cost you when you least expect it.
What were your other big takeaways from Ryan Day today, coming off of the backs of the Washington game, being thrust back into the horseshoe primetime against the Ghosts this weekend?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of a return to normalcy in that the last 2 weeks were Washington is a real challenge, going to deal with the noise.
Yeah, it was a bye week, and then it was a true road game.
But even like a week ago in Ryan Day's press conference, there was a lot of conversation about Washington, way more than normal for any Ohio State opponent. Today, there was one question about Minnesota, and I didn't have any question about Minnesota. This is not a talent-equated game. This is not a matchup game. if you're trying to find a way to see how Minnesota can test Ohio State, it's not
how good Phillip Daniels is against them.
Yeah, I mean, it's not immediately evident to me what way Minnesota could hope to exploit Ohio State, because it's not their offense, and I'm be very surprised if their defense.
They got a good defense.
Good, but
number 9 in the country, I believe.
Yeah, I bet
got some playmakers.
Also lost to Cal, so
that also factually correct.
So I'm gonna temper that, and I don't think that anybody in the Woody Hayes Athletic Center is taking Minnesota for granted. That's not what I mean, but this is one of those weeks where everything is pointing towards Ohio State. They only get to play at home once in a month.
Crazy.
It's nuts. And it's homecoming and it's under the lights. I think the crowd will be pretty frothy. I think that's going to be pretty good on Saturday night, given all the events that are around and a full day to prepare.
Well, they're just not here that much.
And
going back to the bye week, Washington, this game, it's like one home game in 6 weeks.
Which is wild, and you can't waste it. And I don't think Ohio State will, but I think today was a day that Washington revealed some things, and it maybe validated some assumptions that Ohio State had about itself. And now, okay, take those 3 or 4 things that you felt like you didn't execute the best at Washington, which we already mentioned. Special teams is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Red zone efficiency is going to be another. Do they want to play at a higher tempo? It seems like probably not.
Well, when they do go tempo, they look fantastic.
They're good at it.
Yeah, they are.
It is part of the toolbox. Is it going to be something that we see against Minnesota? I would probably say not really.
I would say that they're going to do it, but it's not going to be like 50%
not gonna be
of
the
their
full
offense.
game.
No, it's not. You might see a drive or 2.
And I think there's this notion, Beamer, you brought up the numbers and you threw out the yardage. Like 347 yards on 6 possessions is pretty darn good. Yeah. And Ryan Day dug into that a little bit further with, 16 plays over 10 yards, 25 plays over 8 yards. Those were the numbers that were on the tip of his, tongue there. And those are really, really good. Like, I think they're number 12 in the country in yards per play. And so when Ryan Day is talking about pace of play, and he was talking on Saturday at Husky Stadium, said, 53 plays, 55 plays, 63 plays, these are the kind of games that Ohio State is playing. He's not complaining about that. He has consciously chosen to play in those games.
Well, if you remember, too, back to last year, it was a very conscious effort at the beginning of the season to limit the reps on the offensive side of the ball because they were building in for what they knew was going to be an elongated postseason.
Yeah, and it worked.
It did.
What happened when they got to the Tennessee game? They were fired out of a cannon.
Yeah, breakneck pace.
Yeah, same thing against Oregon in the Rose Bowl. Yep. So, I get it. I think because sometimes the counter argument is that, why don't you just play 20 more snaps with your backups? Well, okay, that's probably not going to be the most efficient use of your time either.
Mm-hmm.
It may be for the long term or for the future, but it's not going to help you win a blowout game or coast into the next week. I believe, especially since we saw it, as you mentioned, a year ago, this works. Like, Ohio State's going to be more efficient than everyone it plays. Like, that's just the reality.
Berm, he's going to join us freshly back from Washington. We'll talk some Buckeyes with him coming up in 2 minutes. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Good morning, Columbus. It's going to be a good day, and it's going to be big. With the biggest morning news team in Central Ohio, Good Day Columbus. The biggest news, weather, and traffic in town every day. Bringing you over 5 hours of breaking news, live reports, and continuing coverage, and stories that'll make you smile. First Warning Weather gets you ready for the day ahead, and Steer Clear Team Traffic will get you to work on time. Good Day Columbus, weekday mornings on ABC 6. It's going to be a good day.
Listen up.
Y'all know what time it is.
Abbott Elementary returns.
Miss Chimenti will no longer be teaching 2nd grade. She'll be moving up to teach middle school math in homeroom.
New year.
Preteens are very different than 2nd graders. Every day is like an episode of Scared Straight. What?
Same Abbott.
We live in a post-truth landscape, and these kids hit below the belt, which is where you haven't been touched in years.
Abbott Elementary season premiere.
Wednesday night on ABC 6.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus. Columbus.
They're trained. They're prepared. Let's do it. They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The best damn radio show in the land. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Hanging out here with Austin Ward. Right now we head up to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline, checking with our guy freshly back from the Pacific Northwest. I believe this man is celebrating a rather large birthday tomorrow. He is Jeremy Birmingham. Hey, Birm, happy early birthday. Preemptive birthday to you.
Thanks. I don't know that 47 is like traditionally known as a big birthday,
AJ
but
Hawk.
it is.
It's the AJ Hawk of birthdays.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Like one of those little known things is that when you're married, it's like it's the 7th year. It's a paper anniversary. 47th birthday has traditionally and historically been known as the AJ Hawk birthday. I completely forgot about that.
Well, now you know. I don't know how Beamer knew it was your birthday.
I don't know either.
I'm just a good friend, is all I am, Berm. Hey, how was Washington? Did it live up to all the expectations? You know that Austin is quite the press box snob. He had some pretty rave reviews about the place.
Well, I didn't talk about the press box.
Well, I know that's for a later date, but overall, it seemed to be pretty good for him, Austin, or for Berm. How was it for you?
It was good. I mean, it's a really nice place. Obviously, I think a little bit of the environment and the atmosphere there was buoyed this weekend by the weather being awesome. Because it's not, normal to go in the Pacific Northwest and have 3 straight days of perfect weather. But it was really great. I thought the Washington fans were good. The Ohio State fans that traveled are always great. The setting was pretty darn special. I don't know that I'm on board with it being the greatest setting in all of sports or whatever, but I liked it quite a bit out there, except for, going there.
They made that claim a bunch of times. They didn't brainwash you into it?
No, but I said before, last week I said, they also claim to have invented the wave there, but I don't know if that's true either.
Well, how were your flights? I guess I didn't even really check to see how Sunday was for you.
They were the easiest and least dramatic flights in the history of flights. So overall, the travel experience was as good as it can be, especially for someone like myself who hates flying. So.
Well, we do know that. I'm surprised that you didn't take the train back, but it's good to hear that the travel went well for you. In the air. When it comes to the actual football game that you watched with your own 2 eyeballs, Berm, on Saturday, what do you make of this defense? We're 4 games in. They're the number 1 defense in the country by, I don't want to say a large margin, but you can tell if you're watching this team that they just look different than any other defense, I believe, in college football. We saw 2 pretty good ones playing Saturday night out in State College. But what do you make of them right now in the way that K-Mac, Caden Curry, Kenyatta, those defensive linemen really held this Washington offense in check on Saturday?
I think the thing that stands out is just the versatility. The Buckeyes can do so many different things because they have so many different players that are capable of being multiple. Caleb Downs obviously is the one that everyone talks about, and he can play all over in the defense and really change the way that the game looks for the opposing team. But it's not just him. It's Sonny Styles. It's Arbel Reese. You can put those guys out there at the same time. I don't even think we've begun to scratch the surface of the way that Matt Patricia can experiment with these things, but you could put Sonny and Arvell out there at defensive end and put Peyton Pierce and Riley Pettijohn out there and do whatever you want. Obviously, Caden Curry moves all over the place and can move around. We're seeing that out of other guys like Bo Atkinson. I think we're starting to finally now see hopefully a healthy Kenyatta Jackson. And the defense, I think, is in a position to not only be better than last year's, but to continue getting better every week this year, which is more important.
Berm, I feel like I've been trying to convince you for 5 years that Caden Curry just needed to play more, and it feels like you're coming around on that.
Yeah, you were right at the forefront of that movement for sure from the start. It's nice, I guess, that it worked out this way, that he is playing by default almost, but he's proving to be what everyone who's been a Caden Curry stand for the last few years has expected him to be. The motor is just relentless. The guy is very, very difficult. I told him after the last 2 weeks, last 2 games, he's just a nuisance. And you can see how much the offensive line that he's playing against does not like him, because he is just he's so annoying, but he's also constantly talking, but he's productive, which is what makes it valuable, because it doesn't matter how much you talk or how much you move around if you're not making plays. And Caden, from the minute that he got to campus at Ohio State, has been a playmaker every time he's been on the field, and it's not a surprise that it's continuing.
He is Berm with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Offensively, Berm, what did you take away in a pretty efficient outing? 6 drives for this Ohio State offense.
Obviously you want more time of possession. You want more opportunities to score, but the Buckeyes punted once and stopped themselves on a 4th and inches on one occasion, and then scored every other time they had the ball. So I don't think you can look at it from any other perspective other than that they were efficient, and you just need to have the ball more. So, as Austin pointed out on today's Snap Judgments, Ohio State only has 6 possessions. It doesn't mean that Washington had 12. So as long as you're making the most out of your possessions, then you're doing what you have to do. And you'd certainly like more opportunities, because the offense has so many explosive parts. But, nobody's stopping them except for time and situation.
Berm, what did you think was the most interesting thing that Ryan Day said today?
I was really drawn to the conversation, as you and I talked about it and people will hear on tomorrow morning's episode of The Beat. Like, the way he raved about Aaron Scott today was just nice to hear, because I've been an Aaron Scott fan for a while too. So I'm glad to see that he's taking the right steps to move into that rotation into the defensive backfield. And, the Buckeyes, these next few weeks are going to be interesting with just who they play, and how these games are going to be formulated and how the defensive game plans are going to be. I think there's an opportunity for Aaron to grow into a role and get more reps. And, he's got the length and the athleticism to be a real, difference maker out at cornerback. And Ohio State wants those guys to prove it by being a contributor on special teams and being a leader on special teams. And Aaron's certainly putting himself into a position to do that. And I just thought it was awesome watching the crowd of his teammates celebrate him after the big tackle on Saturday in the 4th quarter. And, I know that can just boost guys down the road, because they get a sense and pride that they haven't really felt yet in their careers. And if he can capitalize on that and grow on that, then the Buckeyes are only good.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever heard Ryan Day point to a stat as specific as on the last 13 kickoffs that Aaron Scott was the first guy to reach the 30-yard line.
First I've heard of that.
Yeah, but that's the level of attention that's paid to that. That's the point of pride I think that Berm is mentioning. Like, these are the things that they can latch onto. Now, not on all 13 of them did Aaron Scott go down there and make a hit like he did on Saturday at Washington, but he's putting himself in position to make plays on special teams, which tends to correlate with opportunities on defense or offense, depending on which side of the football you play on. But that's the way Ohio State's always done it. You earn your way forward by making plays whenever you get an opportunity.
Hey, Berm, quickly before we get you out of here, what do you got going on for your birthday tomorrow, for Big AJ Hawk birthday?
I'm going to mow the lawn.
Nice.
I'm going to mow the lawn. I'm going to with my wife and my stepdaughters, and my mother-in-law's having a taco dinner for me. And really, that's about it. It's, when you get to a certain age, when you're a man of who's getting a little long in the tooth, Beamer, you really just want to celebrate by being still, like Bruce Lee would say, be still like water.
Be still like water. Buddy, I always appreciate the time. Have a fantastic birthday tomorrow, and we'll check in again next week, all right?
All right, see you guys. Thanks.
There he goes. Jeremy Birmingham with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline.
What happened?
That blank space in his phone, and then following up with what he just said, may have been one of the funnier moments that happened on the show.
That was radio gold.
You might have to go back and listen to the podcast if you missed it, or you can go back and watch the YouTube show. But that blank spot,
fill it in with your imagination.
It hit perfectly. Wow. How'd you like the Bengals' performance last night, Austin?
Didn't like it at all.
Yeah, it's bad.
Did not care for it. And
I didn't want to ask Berm because I knew it was his birthday tomorrow.
Well, if you follow Berm on social media, you know exactly what his reaction was. And he referenced it on multiple different shows that we recorded today. I said, are you going to talk about this game all week long? Like, let's get over it.
Austin, had a great time tonight. Talk to you next Tuesday, okay?
Sounds great.
Jackets up next on The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate.